Yes, yes, Sobia, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank you very
Yeah, Sobia, before I start, I just want a brief introduction of you, like what is your educational background and why you want to join civil service, and have you like started studying for UPSC before, or like you're the pressure for this field, and when you are planning to do this exam, like in which year you are planning to do this exam?
Okay, so I'm doing my fourth year law currently from Ramaya College of Law.
Okay, so it's a
And
5 year LLB course.
yes, sir, it's a 5 year LLB course.
Okay, fine. So
And I,
next year you will be in your final year, right?
yes, next year I'll be in my final year.
Okay, fine.
And, I've always wanted to be an IPS officer since my primary school,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I finished my NCC, attended all the camps. I
Okay.
always kept that in my mind and went ahead with whatever I did. I took arts and
Mm-hmm.
then I went to law because I wanted something to fall back to because UPSC is not certain,
Okay.
as we all know.
Okay. So fine. So have
And so I've not, so I've attended a few coaching classes. The first one I went to was after my 12th.
you okay.
I did a little studying there, but uh, I was not pretty happy with the coaching
Okay.
there. Then I
Okay.
went to another coaching center.
Mm-hmm.
It was very high level, meaning there were a lot of lectures
Okay.
by a lot of IRS officers and things like that, and they never touched upon the basics. They expected us to sort of know everything, and there were a lot of people who had already attempted, cleared prelims or say two times, three times veterans. So I felt out of place there basically. Then I thought, okay, not happening here. Then I thought I have a few friends. So they told, it's better to study on your own. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought I'll start with NCRTs.
Okay.
I started with geography. I finished 6th to 10th geography.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt sick. And then I lost touch. Then I bought Lakshmikant. Then I thought, okay, fine, I'll start Lakshmikant.
Mm-hmm.
The very first chapter I started reading, it's all the charters and I lost interest in. I thought, okay, I really need someone who's going to be behind my back. And when I looked at all these coaching centers, one, they're too expensive and I cannot afford them.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's a business for them. It's not a given that they
They are
will,
more commercial oriented, like
yeah, yeah. They don't focus on your success
right,
and,
right.
cater to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mahajira told me about you. Then I thought, okay, I should really give this a chance.
Fine, sir. Yeah. So I understood now, like what is your need and what you are up to now. One thing you need to remember for UPSC exam, like UPSC exam is not, or the UPSC is not looking for like very extraordinarily talented people to join into the service. This is the the most common myth which is there among the students, that you need to study a lot. You need to study what you can say 12 hours or 14 hours or 15 hours in a day. It's not like that. And one more thing is also like it's not like that you want to become an IS officer or you want to become an IPS officer. It's exactly a reverse way, that UPSC is looking certain candidates who have an eligibility to become an IPS officer. So UPSC is searching for certain candidates who can become an IPS officer, right? So while UPSC is searching for certain candidates who want to become an IPS officer, they are looking some qualities in you. Like they are expecting something in the candidate that they should have it. So you need to understand what UPSC is demanding, or what is the demand of the UPSC for to become a civil servant, and that you will come to know by three important sources. Like one is that you will come to know what UPSC is expecting from you, that is from the previous year question paper. Second is from the syllabus, and third is from by understanding the notification of the UPSC. So before you start any exam, you need to understand the syllabus thoroughly. You need to understand. Of course, you can't understand the syllabus in one go. For example, now if you read the syllabus, you will open up the syllabus, and if you read it once, now you can't understand it. Understanding the syllabus is an ongoing process. Like as you prepare, as you study the subject, as you try to link with each other, then you will come to know what exactly why that topics have been included into the syllabus. So previous year question paper again, when you go through the previous year question paper, if your preparation is not completed, you can't be able to digest, or you will not be able to understand why that question has been asked, or what is the background behind that question. You can't understand it, right? So you have to do it regularly. So if you keep doing it regularly, like looking at the previous year question paper regularly, looking at the syllabus regularly, then within 4 to 5 months you will come to know what UPSC is expecting from you. Now, as I told you, that UPSC is not looking for extraordinarily talented people, or they are not looking for very, the genius people. If it was the case, then many IITians who have applied for this exam, who have appeared for this exam, they have not qualified. And there are many such examples, that those who have taken their education from a very rural background, or from Jilla Parishad school, or they have completed their graduation from Open University or distance learning, they have also qualified this exam. So why those people have qualified this exam? Because they have understood the demand of the exam. IITians, although they are very talented, they are very the bright, or they are very the genius, but they did not understand the demand of the exam. And why they did not understand the demand of the exam? They got in sway with the commercialization of the coaching institute. I don't know what is the situation in Bengaluru, but in Delhi and in other places, there are a lot of coaching institute. There are a lot of people who are guiding, and then they are teaching to the students, or they're giving that material to the candidates for preparing for UPSC, which is irrelevant in the sense, as per the recent trend of the exam. Second important thing which you need to understand for qualifying this exam is to understand the recent trend of the exam. Like if you are preparing for UPSC, like 2010 trend or 2015 trend, like for example, suppose if you go through 2010 question paper, or 2013 question paper, 2014 question paper, the questions are different, and the questions in 2020, 2019, 2017 are different. So that's what happens. Like majority of the coaching institutes, or majority of the the classes, they're still got trapped into that old way of UPC preparation. They're still reading Lakshmikant, they're still reading the Hindu, they're still reading what you can say the NCRTs, they're still got trapped into that 2015. Because you must have also, like for example, as you told me that the institute where you have joined, the IRS officer were giving the coaching to you, right? But again, no, suppose if that IRS officer or that IAS officer who qualified the exam in 2005, if he comes to guide you, then of course he will guide you as per the trend in 2005 exam. Like when he was giving the exam, when what was the trend during this time, he will guide you as per that, and he will tell you that read all NCRT, because in 2015, in 2005, in 2011, the question majority of the questions were being asked from NCRT. But in last 2 to 3 years, like from 2017, 18, 19, and 20 as well, we have seen that there is a shift in the way the UPSC is framing the question, the sources from where the UPSC is framing the question, as well as the current affairs on the areas on which UPSC is asking the question. Although the syllabus is same, syllabus is same, that syllabus is history, syllabus is polity, syllabus is geography, syllabus is economics. But earlier UPSC used to ask questions from different areas. Nowadays they are asking questions from different areas. So if you do not understand that trend, if you do not understand that the recent trend, then of course, and if you are reading the as per the recent, as per the previous trend, you can't qualify this exam. So that's what we are trying to do. Like what I do, like I have analyzed 2017, 18, 19 question paper. I found many things, like the many mains exam question paper had been directly asked from the Indian Express, but people are still reading the Hindu. Many questions you can't solve by only reading Lakshmikant. And when you read Lakshmikant, which is a very bulky book, and again, this is the most expensive book. And when you read directly the Lakshmikant, you can't understand what exactly is mentioned in Lakshmikant. And nowadays, UPSC is not asking questions from Lakshmikant directly, because UPSC knows it very well that if those books which are popular in the market, if anybody is reading it, if anybody is mugging up that book, can you call them as a dynamic leader, or the person who has always have the quality to learn new things? You can't do it, right? So that's why UPSC has one more trend in last 2 to 3 years, that they are not asking questions from the popular material which is available in the market, like popular material or popular sources. Like everybody is reading Lakshmikant, everybody is reading the Hindu, everybody is reading Vision IS material, everybody is reading Sri Ram IS notes. So last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is not asking any direct question from those sources, and that's the reason those people are preparing from these material, they are not qualified. And those people who are taking the help of internet in a systematic way, like of course you need to know how to use Google, you need to know how to use Wikipedia, you need to know how to use the internet for preparing for UPSC. Those people are qualifying now. So last 2 years the sources have been changed. One important change in the trend is that one is the area on which UPSC is asking the question. Second is the way the UPC is framing the question. Third is, the material from which the UPSC is asking the question. If you understand this, you can qualify for science. Got it? So this is what is very important. And as you told, as you said, there is a commercialization of the coaching institute, or you can say the classes. What happens? Like they do give you a current affair magazine. Now the current affair magazine, there are around 100 pages and 150 pages in that current affair magazine. But out of that 150 pages, there are only 2 to 3 pages which are relevant for the UPSC exam, relevant as per the recent trend of the exam again. But suppose if I give you 3 pages and I will tell you that we have to buy these 3 pages in 200 rupees, will you buy that? You will not buy that, right? So that's why what I'm doing, that along with that 3 relevant pages, I'm adding 147 irrelevant pages. And when you read that 147 irrelevant pages, you are wasting your time. You are reading, irrelevant material. Then you can't remember what exactly is supposed to remember for this exam, and that is what is happening. Like it is a waste of your time. But as jab aap suppose when you are reading 150 bits, and when you are reading only 3 bits, so what is the possibility? Will you be able to remember the 3 bits when you read only the 3 bits, or when you will read all 150 bits?
The 3 bits, of
Right?
course.
So you need to know what exactly you are supposed to read out of that 150 pages. And that how will you come to know what exactly you are supposed to read within that 150 pages? You will come to know only by analyzing the previous year question paper thoroughly. And when you are analyzing the previous year question paper analysis, doesn't mean that how many questions have been asked from polity, how many questions have been asked from economy, how many questions have been asked from history. It is not like that. UPSC never have a fixed, the rule, like they will ask 15 questions from polity, history question from the. It's not like that. UPSC keeps changing the number of questions. No, analysis means what? That you understand. Like for example, suppose now you have read from Lakshmi. Suppose if you have read fundamental rights chapter, that after reading fundamental rights chapter, you have to go to the 2017, 18, 19 question paper and 20 question paper, and you have to find out that how the questions have been framed by UPSC on this fundamental rights chapter. You need to go and check it out, whether they're asking the article numbers, or whether they're asking the categories of the fundamental rights, or whether they're asking what is the basic concept of the fundamental right that you need to know. So what is the systematic preparation? Around 5 to 6 lakh people apply every year for the UPSC exam. Out of that 5 to 6 lakh, only around 50,000 are seriously preparing like you. Everybody like who is applying for UPSC, they're just applying for the sake of applying, or somebody has told you that's why they're applying. So out of that 5 to 6 lakh, only 50,000 are seriously prepared. But again, within that 50,000, those who are seriously preparing, only around 10 to 15,000 are preparing with the right approach and right guidance. Like they are seriously preparing, but they are not preparing in a right way. The 50,000 students are also not preparing in a right way, and that's why they don't qualify the prelims exam. So only around 10 to 15,000 people qualify the prelims exam because they are preparing systematically. Those 50,000, they are also reading Lakshmikant, they are also reading the Hindu, they are also reading the same material. Sorry, but still they don't qualify. The reason is between these two is that the one who qualifies preparing systematically, and the one who is not qualifying is not preparing systematically. Now what do you mean by systematic preparation? Systematic preparation means what? Like, I told you now, like for example, when you read fundamental right chapter, then you have to pull 2017, 18, 19, 20 question paper. You will see how the questions have been asked on fundamental right chapter on in all 4 years. Now what we do, what normally we do while preparing for civil services, I read the whole Lakshmikant book, then I'll go to the question paper. It's not like that. Topic wise we have to do. Like today, if I have read DPSP, like today I have read DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policies, I will go and check it out how the questions have been asked on DPSP in prelims and how the questions have been asked on DPSP in mains. So when I read it on the same day, I will come to know what I supposed to remember for prelims exam and what I'm supposed to study for the mains exam. Getting it? Like for example, suppose if you are reading science and technology. So before starting your science and technology preparation, you need to know that how the questions have been asked on science and technology in last 2 to 3 years. So on the basis of that, you will decide what to read in science and technology. Is it clear? So this is what is called systematic preparation. So what happens? The students are like they keep reading and reading and reading and reading. They don't checking out, or they're not confirming whatever I'm reading whether it is relevant or not. Whatever I'm reading, whether on those topics, on those areas, UPSC is asking the question in last 2 to 3 years or not. Maybe that the questions have been asked on those areas which are reading in 2005 or maybe in 2000 or maybe in 2011, but they are not asking question now. So that's the reason I'm telling you You don't need to remember the numbers of article. You don't need to remember the facts. Not like that, because UPSC is focusing more on the basics now. Now same thing is with the geography as well. You are reading NCRT from 6th standard to 12th standard. NCRT you have read for geography. But if you see in last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is not asking questions from core geography. But they're not asking questions on rock and rock classification. They're not asking questions on the physiography of India. They're not asking questions on the Earth's interior and all. They used to ask these questions on all these topics like maybe 6 years back. But last 2 to 3 years, they're not asking questions on those core geography. So, but you are still reading that core geography. Yes, of course, once you can read it up, once you can read. But when revising for the prelims exam, you need to know that in last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is asking more questions on applied geography, like application of geography in agriculture, application of geography in environment, application of geography in international studies. So, majority of the question in last 2 to 3 years, they are asking from the applied geography and map-based question. So if you know this thing, then you will decide. I mean, then you will not read NCRT in detail, or you will not, read NCRT again and again. So understanding the recent trend is very, very important for this exam. So, but if you understand this, then you will, you can remove the extra material, or rather than you can decide what to read and what not to read. Is it clear? So that's what's
Yes.
happening. And last 2 3 years, I have also observed that those people who are preparing for last 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, they're not qualified because they still got trapped into that old way. But there are few students who are freshers and they just know the structure of the exam. There is filling, there is mains, and there is the interview, and they have studied the syllabus, and they have observed the previous 2 to 3 years question paper, and on that basis they have made the list of the topics on which the UPSC is asking questions recently, and on that basis they just use the internet in a smart way, and they qualified it. So last 2 3 years, if you will find out the result that those people who have applied for the first time or the second time, they qualify, and those who are preparing for like last 4 years, 5 years, they are not qualifying. The reason is because they have got trapped into that old way of preparation, and they have not got the idea of the new trend of the exam, and that's what you need to do. Got it, Sobia? And that's the
Yes,
reason,
yes.
even Hajira, when she joined the class, I was discussing all these things, and that's what she understood, that the way we are discussing the question paper, the way we are discussing the basic topic, the way we are discussing the main topics and brilliance topics, she got the benefit out of it, and that's why she's continuing. Got it? Now this is about that what you need to do. Now you are in fourth year, next year you are in the fifth year. I just want to know what will be your age in next year? Like, will you be completing 20 and 21 years of age when you get your certificate, the degree certificate?
I'm already 22, sir. So by
22.
next year I'll
Fine.
be
So because the
22.
minimum eligibility to appear for this exam is that you should complete 21 years of age, and you should be getting your degree certificate before your mains exam. So now
I will.
we uh, we will expect that the next year prelims exam will be conducted in the month of June, because this year it is scheduled in June. So if everything is okay, like the pandemic and all, goes okay, then we expect that the next year exam will also be conducted in the month of June. So
June.
June 2022. So we have almost 1 year for your exam, like prelims exam. So what will we do
Yes.
in the beginning 6 to 7 months? We will finish your basic, like basic. For although you must have studied, you must have read NCRT and everything. But I want you to bring to that recent trend of the exam, like recent. You will be
Okay.
studying the basics as per the recent trend, like basics of polity, basics of history, basics of geography, basics of environment. That we will do in the first 4 to 5 months. And once you are done with the basics, probably from January onwards, or maybe if you are very good, I don't know what is your grasping power, and I can't understand within just 10 to 15 minutes now. It will take some around 1 month for me. Like when we join the session, on that basis, I will come to know what is your grasping power. If your grasping power is very good, then we can start your mains exam preparation after 3 to 4 months. So in mains exam, what will we do? In mains exam preparation, we will understand the points in the syllabus of the mains exam, as well as we will understand how to make notes for the mains exam. You have to have your own notes. You can't rely on the notes which are available in the market, because again and again I'm telling you, those notes which are available in the market, they are out of date. They are not updated. They are outdated. You have to have your own notes, simple notes. I'm not asking you to make a very basic notes like bullet points notes. You have to make it. So we will start making notes after 3 to 4 months, not in the beginning. And you will also understand how to write answer writing skill, and how to write the essays and all that we will do after 3 to 4 months, right? And next June we have a prelims exam. So before, if the exam is scheduled in June 2022, then we will start your prelims oriented preparation in the month of February or March. February March 2020, 2022 till February 2022, we will be doing your basics and maths. That will be our approach. Got it? Now, what you are supposed to do, every day I am taking a newspaper analysis in the morning, because this newspaper analysis is very important. Why newspaper analysis is very important? Like, you can't, again I told you, you can't rely on the material which is available in the market. You have to read newspaper by yourself. And every day in the morning I'm taking, for half an hour I'm taking newspaper analysis. And in that half an hour newspaper analysis, I'm telling you that this article is important for UPSC, this article is important for prelims exam, this article is important for mains exam, and you have to read. Okay? Then evening I'm taking a basic class, one basic class. Now we are doing history. Now abhi history chal raha hai, but before your exam, we will start with, after history I may be starting with geography, then I will be starting with polity, then I will be starting with environment and all. So within like 4 to 5 months we will be finishing it. Abhi filhal, some 15 days have crossed, that we have started with the modern Indian history. But don't worry, you join it, just try to understand what is happening. I will take history once again before your prelims. So उस समय में समझ में आ जाएगा. But now you can join. Continue with joining. Try to understand how I'm explaining the topics, how we are continuing and all that you can do, right? So these two things you need to do right now. But again, apart from this, I'm having some other sessions as well. Like for example, now I'm taking the revision and Manorama yearbook for those students who are appearing for this year's exam. So that is not useful for you, because if you are going to appear next year, you can join in the next year. So abhi filhal these two sessions you have to attend regularly, and I will be also giving you access for my previous class recordings. Like previously I had taken classes for polity and economy. If you have a time, I don't know what is your college schedule now, whether you are busy with the college or not, or whether you have a free time, I don't know. Now this is a pandemic, and I think you are not going for colleges, right? The colleges are closed, right? They're not
Online classes, sir.
online classes. You are conducting, like you are attending the online classes.
I mean, they've just started from yesterday.
No.
So
Fine, no problem. No worries. If you have a time, if you could afford to give like one more hour, you can watch that recording. Otherwise, no problem. You can do it later on also. But these two live sessions, newspaper session and evening live sessions of history, we have to do right now. And if you could afford, you can give 1 hour for watching that recording, that pre-recorded classes, you can watch. Got it?
the history ones.
History one is going on now. Yeah. The previous classes which you have not attended.
Okay, yeah, I'll do
But check it. And I am sending you one link of the one mobile application, one WhatsApp application, which you have to download, and you have to send a request for me, so that I can give you the access to watch that recordings, and you can join the classes. So you can join the classes by using that WhatsApp application. Fine.
Okay.
And if you're facing any difficulties in using that application, you can message us. We will help you in if you have any the problems in joining the class.
Yes, sir.
So evening right now, due to Ramadan, we have changed the schedule. Right now we are conducting the classes between 7:30 to 8:30. But probably after Ramadan, we may again change the schedule. So you can join that. But right now you can join the basic class at 7:30 in the evening, and around 11 to 12 we are having newspaper analysis every day in the morning. Otherwise, I do take it 9:30 to 10 in the morning. But due to this Ramadan, I have changed the schedule. Now the newspaper analysis is happening at 11 to 12.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Anything else you want to ask, Sophia? Anything about preparation you can ask me.
So I've not decided on my.
I hope you know the structure of the exam, right? What is there in prelims, what is there in main, and what is there in the
Yes.
fine.
Yes. I've not decided on my optional.
Optional. Okay. Fine. Uh, Not any subject, no, not decided. Like one thing you need to remember, that way before you deciding your optional subject, three things you need to keep in mind. One is that you need to have interest in that subject. Second is that you need to have a guidance available for that subject. And third is standard material should be available for that subject. That is the most important thing which you need to keep in mind. Like for example, now since you are from the law background, you can keep law as your optional subject if you are very good in law and if you have interest in law. And you can keep law only when if you don't need to do some extra time for preparing for law. अगर आपको लॉ के लिए एक्स्ट्रा टाइम अगर देना पड़ रहा है तो यू डोंट कीप इट. Otherwise you can go for some other subjects like social sciences like history or geography or politics or economics, because suppose if you keep history or if you keep political science, you don't need to prepare separately for optional subject. Suppose if you keep history as optional subject, that will help you in GS paper as well. So when you are preparing for history, you are preparing for GS as well as you are preparing for optional. But suppose if you keep your law, now law will be helping you in GS paper to like polity, Indian Constitution and all, that will help you. But suppose if you keep any technical subject, that will not help you in GS paper. So I don't know. You decide, like if your law is very good, if you're very good in other laws, like in laws there are some other subjects as well. Apart from Constitution, we have some other subjects as well. Like we have tort, we have some the Criminal Procedure Code, we have IPC, we have law of crime and all. So if you are very good in law, you can go ahead. So that because आपको कुछ और अलग से प्रिपरेशन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. But if you
So I did think of law, but then I saw the syllabus,
okay,
and it is vast. I mean, although I've studied whatever I've studied
right,
in my college, you know how college works. Exams say a week pehle you're studying,
yes,
and
yes,
for this I will have to study again the
right,
whole
right,
thing.
right,
And
right.
in law you can't write anything because you have case laws and it has to be the name, and you
Yes.
have the
Again
case
for
history, the
UPSC,
facts, the judgment.
again
Yeah,
in college you might write you may write and you get qualified in degree, but in UPSC you can't do that.
yeah. In college I write anything, but then for them it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in UPSC it matters. So
Yeah.
law is something I wouldn't want to go for. Thinking either sociology or pub but I am not sure.
Okay. Check, I will do one thing, Sophia, because right now you don't decide about your optional subject. Because I just told you three things you need to know. Like you have to have interest in that subject, and then you have to got a guidance for that, and again you need to have the standard material available for this. Now what we'll do, like in basic we have polity, geography, history, and all we will be studying. So when we will be studying the subject for 3 years, then you will come to know that in which subject you are creating more interest after maybe 4 to 5 months, and then you will tell me that, sir, I'm creating interest in this subject, so I want to go for that subject. And then you will be going through the previous year question paper, and if you feel so that yes, you are understanding what the questions have been asked by the UPSC in the mains exam, then we will decide about it. Right now we will not decide about your optional subject. Let's focus more on your GS, and maybe after 4 to 5 months, then we will decide about your optional subject. Even I will also come to know that in which subject you are good at, so I can suggest you for the optional subject. Now understood that law will not be a feasible for you. You have to go for some social science. But which social science subject you need to go, that I will tell you maybe after 4 to 5 months. Not right now. But right now we will be focusing
Okay.
only on the GS.
Okay, so now the morning newspaper class, the evening
Yeah.
basic class.
So for you, because no, those who are appearing for this year's exam, I do have some extra sessions for them. Those who are appearing for this year's exam, like
But
Hajira is giving this year's exam, she's attending some extra session apart from this. But if you want, if
so,
you are free, you can join. I don't have any problem.
so
But
do I have to have to do any other subject studying from my own,
no,
like
no,
anything
no,
else?
no. Whatever I am taking, just follow with that. Because my schedule is as per the 2022 target. So I know
Oh,
that which subject to be studied now, which subject to be studied before 1 month of exam, which topics to be studied before 4 months of exam. I have a schedule. No, I have a plan for 1 year. So you have to follow my plan. Otherwise, what will happen? If you are reading polity and if I'm teaching history, then you will not understand history or not polity. So if I'm studying
yes.
history now, you need to thorough with history. If I'm taking
Okay.
history, complete history, then I will be taking polity, then finish polity. So that what will happen, if we both are in sync with each other, we can complete the whole syllabus, and we can complete it before the exam. So just follow whatever I'm telling
So,
you. Don't have
so for the history, what book would you be referring? Do I
uh,
have to get in?
yes, there is one book for modern Indian history as well as in the ancient and medieval Indian history, that is called Tamil Nadu State Board book. Again, I told you,
Oh,
there
the
are many.
11th and 12th.
Yeah, 11th and 12th Tamil Nadu State Board book. Because
Okay.
many people are reading NCERT, and many people are reading some books like Spectrum publication, and many books are which are available in the market. But I have observed that in last 2 to 3 years, UPSC is directly asking questions from Tamil Nadu State Board book. and that's why I'm
Okay.
suggesting you to read that book. Along with that, you need to read some other material as well. So when you will watch the recordings, you will come to know that what to read and what not to read. So keep watching recordings, and apart from the recording, you have to read Tamil Nadu State Board book for ancient, medieval, and modern Indians.
Okay.
And I will also be
Yes, sir.
providing you some PDF, some soft material on you can say on your WhatsApp number, and you will get it, right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and I'm adding you in a WhatsApp group, in online of the class group, so that you can get the notification and you will get the updates about the classes and you will get update the material and all. You will getting everything in that WhatsApp group. Fine.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Chale, see, remember, Sobia, UPSC is, it's a ongoing process, or, you can't understand the whole, the nature of the exam in just 15 or 20 minutes. It is, it's ongoing, and it's you have to learn it in 4 to 4 months. So it will take at least 4 to 5 months to understand exactly what you are supposed to do. And once you understand, then you can carry your preparation. So it's no, UPSC is like a marathon running. You know the difference between marathon and 100-meter running. In 100-meter running, you have to run, at a very high speed in the beginning, and then only you can, you can get a medal. Other in marathon, you have to, first you have to warm up your body, and then you have to increase your speed. So UPSC is like that. You have to, you have to be very patient, and you have to, first try to understand. Like before understanding the demand, don't speed up your, the preparation. Like अगर आपको पता ही नहीं कि exactly कैसे पढ़ना है, क्या पढ़ना है, and if you are still reading the book, then there is no use of it. First, try to understand what to read, what not to read, what it is demanding. And once you understand, then you can increase your study duration. Like in the beginning, just 2 hours in a day, that is sufficient. But now, after 4 to 5 months, you have to increase from 2 hours to 4 hours, and then 4 hours to 6 hours. That is sufficient. 6 hours is sufficient. I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure. So I'm adding you into the group. You just take the notification from that, and I'll also be sending you the WhatsApp application link. Download it and join it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.